Right, there we go. It's working now. Oh, what a ball ache. Right. Hello, good evening. Welcome. Yes. So we're back in West Cornwall for the first route of the night. Probably going to do 3 routes this evening, depending on how long they take. And yeah, we will see how we get on. So let's get into the game. Oh, look, the passenger information system isn't working. So we're going to have to guess when the train's coming in and where it's coming in at 9:40. I'm imagining it's the train up there in the siding. That one there. It's going to come across and we're going to take it forward. Down here. Keep going down here. All the way to Penzance. So probably looking at about a 50-minute trip. There's lots of people waiting to get on this. This is very unlike Penzance and St Austell and all of those. It's never normally this busy. Thanks Rush Hour though for populating our game with people. Right, so it's not going to leave us much time to get it prepped, but then again we could be bugged and that no train actually arrives for departure at 9:40. If not, we'll have to shoot back to the menus and load in on timetable mode instead of free roam, because it still doesn't have the signal there and it's due to leave here at 9:40. So yeah, could be a bit awkward. What we could do though is we could run down there and see. But knowing my luck, I'll get there and it'll start coming towards us. Right, better making sure it's safe to cross. The ground position light is still on, so we should be good to climb on board. To Penzance. Right, so it's scheduled to start in 20 seconds. Right, so we just need to quickly jump out the seat and turn the TPWS on. We don't turn on the DSD because that doesn't work. At the moment there is no audible alarm. So let's get our master key in. Reverse it to forward. Cancel. Right, as you can see the ground position light has come off in front of us, so just go to throttle number 1. Put our daylights on, put our markers on, put our instrument lights on. Going up quite a gradient off this siding, so give it a little bit of the beans, and here we go, we're off and running. So yeah, we're going to Penzance, so that's all good. Just put our fan on, get a little bit of air into the cab, circulate that round. Quite a steep gradient this station's on, which is unusual, as stations don't normally get built on gradients. They're normally on a flat. Right. So here we are, the lovely St Austell. Car, get that loaded up. So I'm not sure if this route is still available on Xbox for purchase, or whether they got the pull order in and had it removed while they fixed the bugs. So next stop is Truro. It's about 10 minutes away. So we're on a semi-fast service this evening. So as we're leaving a couple of seconds late, we will give it everything we've got. As we have a speed limit of 65. So like I said before, the only bug that I've really come across on this route is the DSD not really working properly. It will work, but it won't give you an audible alert, so it's a little bit tricky. And you'll notice that there is some popping of the trees and stuff, which if you're focusing on your driving you don't really notice it, because someone pointed it out to me the other day. I notice it at the moment, and yeah, it started to bug me a little bit. Right, so it is technically raining, so we probably should put our window wiper on a little bit. To clear away some of that rain that doesn't exist on the windscreen. Oh, we've got no rear tail lights on. We'll have to sort that out when we get to Truro. So if I do this, it'll turn them on the front. Which is no good to anybody. Hello Darko Rail, good evening. Thank you very much for the follow. I was sorely missed. Who were you before? Alright, we're coming up to the 60 now. As we go past the works. Yeah, I've been busy with work and sort of lost faith in Dovetail products for a little while. Right, we're back to 65. It's good to have you back. Alright, we're on to a bit of single line, which, as you can probably tell by the track and bridges and stuff, it did used to be dual track. Right, let's throttle off as we're going downhill. Probably going to need to just rub the brakes a little bit here because we're going to run away otherwise. Oh, thank you very much, Darko. It's nice of you to say. Well, like I say, I'm sort of trying to get some more bits and pieces out now. So we shall see if I can get you some regular content back out. But you join us here on the West Cornwall local route, which has been delayed on PlayStation and PC, and it may or may not be available on Xbox at present because of bugs, but I'm not entirely sure what the bugs were because I didn't see the Dovetail Games stream that said what they were. So I have no problems with it, apart from the Class 37 and the signalling, which is available. Well, you've probably seen my YouTube video of that one. Yeah, it shouldn't be too long. I believe they're looking at just after the 313, so the week after the 313. So not this week, next week. But don't hold me to that, please. I don't work for Dovetail. I'm not an ambassador, and I have no inside information on that one. So, but I can't see it being withheld for long. It's an interesting little route, to be fair. It's just a bit dead, but that's like most Rivet games ones. They don't seem to have much going on them. You drive train, and that's it. Right, I'm going to turn that window wiper off because it doesn't really affect what we're doing. Oh, there we go. It did turn off. Alright, so we'll now put our foot down as we're going back uphill. It's really weird that this is a single track when you can clearly see that the track bed is dual track. Good old beaching in the 60s. Yeah, I'm liking the look of the 313. I will probably grab that on Thursday when it comes out. It'd be a nice new layer to the East Coastway. Personally would have said it's taken them a little bit too long to get it out though, if I'm honest, because that route is not rush hour compatible just yet, I don't think. But the upgrade may be coming with 313, so... Right, we've got 7 miles now to Truro. Whee, there's that low-res texture pop-in thing again, the bug. It's the first one I've had for a while. Yep, I don't blame you. Home of the railways and all that. And I think you'll find it's a lot easier to drive a train in this on British signalling, because British signalling is a lot simpler than Germany or America. Right, so we're back to our speed limit of 65 here, and we're going down another considerable incline, so we're probably going to have to rub the brakes. Yeah, there we go. We'll give them a little rub, knock some speed off, release back again. That's our first signal we've seen for a while. There's a repeater. Yeah, I completely get you, Darko. Everybody's got their preference, and mine is I prefer British Railways. Just wish that Dovetail Games would listen to people a bit more when it comes to what routes they want to see. Oh, motion blur. Ugh. Right, so we're 5 miles from Truro, where we get to turn our tail lights on and drive properly. Because in theory, in real life, you would stop and turn your tail lights on right away if you forgot to put them on. Right, back to a bit of dual track. Now, I haven't driven this route all the way, so I'm in uncharted waters at the moment, driving by what we see in front of us. Going back uphill now, so well, that sound mixing on that throttle needs a little bit of adjusting. Everything and nothing. But we basically have the same amount of power notches as we do in the Class 166, so we have 7. And you'll notice that a lot of the dials are the same as the Class 166. So the real difference is the power hand, where in the 166 you've got everything here to make it go and brake, whereas this has independent throttle and brake controls. So in theory you can accelerate and brake at the same time. Shame the hold gear doesn't work. Alright, so 3.5 miles now from Truro. Don't think we're going to be on time, if I'm honest. I don't think the timings are quite right. But I could be wrong. Oh, there comes a train towards us. Hello, train friend. Right, we're now going back downhill on the drop into Truro. So we will just throttle our accelerator off. Let gravity do the work. So just before the station we've got a 30-mile-an-hour permanent speed restriction, so we are climbing up again. We're not going to get an AWS horn for this, because that's a 65. Where's my command to swap cabs? Right, let's just throttle off. We won't put the brakes on just yet because they are a little bit sharp, shall we say. But we are going downhill, so yeah, we'll just go to notch 1. Where's my cab swap? Right, so we're not far from the station now, and it's a considerable drop, so I am glad I put the brakes in to slowly slow ourselves down. Right, we're on semaphore signalling as well, so better pay attention. Right, so we will just release the brakes because, again, we're going uphill now. So again, that section signal is clear. And here we go, we're arriving into Truro. Not been to this station before. We've got a little level crossing there, so we just do a little horn. Ah, this is more like it. Oh look, there's a stopping service there. Right, we've got a red signal at the end of the platform. Right, so we've unlocked our left doors. So what we quickly need to do is get out the cab. So we don't get much time here, or any of the stations on this route. We just need to turn our tail lights on. Come on. There we go. There we go. So we have a red signal. We still have a red signal, so we can't actually go anywhere. So let's close the door. Close that door. Sit back down. Close our left doors. Right, and there you go. You saw the signal come off then. So we have the green. So we're going ahead of the stopper. So Red Roof is the next station call. So away we go. So we should have our tail lights on now. There we go. Right, another steep climb out of the station. Not getting much speed up here. Oh, that's cool. That switch actually works. And as you can see, they've got a working in-car cab radio on this one. Well, to the point where it's actually got something on the display. Right, we're going off to the right. So we're not going down the little branch there to a dead end. We are carrying on the main line. So again, we've got a 60 mph speed limit along here. What we will do just quickly is just turn off my favourite setting. Ah, there we go, that's better. Oh, better turn the HUD back on though, because I don't really know where I'm driving. Cross that foot crossing there. So typical British weather this afternoon for this run. Or morning for the game. It's raining. We're still climbing uphill as another 150 comes past us. So we're back on colour light signals, which are 3 aspect. Well, that one's not, that's a 2 aspect. That will show a red or a green. You've got to be on the mark here with seeing your signals, because you don't know what the next one is. Well, I don't, because I don't have that on. So in theory, the next signal we come up against could be a red. Another crossing. Right, so that's 60, that's the maximum speed we're permitted to do on the line. So we've still got a mile and a little bit to go until we are at 70. Oh, we're going downhill now. Rub the brakes, make sure they're still working. Right, so climbing again, so throttle's going back in as we go through what looks to be a disused station. Right, so we'll go to full throttle now, because we are just about to hit the 70 as we get to this bridge. There it is. So we can continue to accelerate up to 70, but we've now got this hill to contend with, which will hinder our speed progression. We are just 3 miles from Redruth. Well, Redruth, however you want to pronounce it. Just make sure you do it in a Cornish accent. But yeah, there's really not much to see. People have been complaining about that dual carriageway looking shocking, but it's outside the railway, so I don't really care about it. Right, downhill. Foot crossing again. Give it a little toot of the horn. Quite a lot of broken trees along here. Well, accelerating quite nicely, so we'll throttle off as we approach 70. Oh. Significantly climbing again, and the throttle goes again. Right, so we've got 40 in a mile and 3/4. Which is after the station, so we're 1.5 miles from the station now. So we will throttle off. Ooh. A bit late to see that crossing then. So we're just starting to climb again, but it's gradually thinning out to a flat gradient. We let the gradient do the work and the brakes. The less wear on the brakes, the better. We're just under 1 mile from the station now. There's our 40 board. Should have technically had an AWS with that. So we'll just start to bring our speed down before we get to the station, so we can take into account the wet railhead. We're on a flat now though, so we'll just aim for 30 miles an hour at the platform ramp, which is just round the curve, so that the braking's not too harsh. Because the brakes on this unit are exceptionally good. Right, so there's our 40 board, so it is actually just before the station. So we're doing 34, so we're good. Oh, it's quite a short platform. Whoa. Come on, brakes. There's the sanding button. Whoa. Just. Oof. Everybody's got to run for the train now. Right. Camborne, 3.5 miles away. Let's go. So that's interesting. That's the HST stops. Very interesting. Because technically a HST does come along here. Some other streamers have recently done scenario planners and not obeyed the speed limit at all because they're in a HST with no safety systems on. Idiots. Right, up to 60. So we're on flat rail at the moment, no gradients at all. I'll give it some throttle up to 60 as we're approaching the 70 in 2 miles, which is just before the station. See, this is the only problem for me with this route, is it's not busy enough. Now, I know it's not really busy in real life, but that's, again, something Rivet seem to do. They create the Isle of Wight line, which has barely any traffic, or it's not even open at the moment. And then they come along with this route, which is another very quiet route. It is based in the early 90s, when railway traffic on this route was quite sparse, but if you're going to create a route, create a busy one, so you can show off your developer skills and getting a good timetable together, and people get to see how awesome your trains or your rolling stock look. Instead, just giving us this where you might see one train every 15-20 minutes. Because I'll show you the Brighton Main Line after this, and that is busy, especially on the Series X and the PlayStation 5. Right, here we go, we're entering the 70, just up ahead, so we've not got to 60, so we can accelerate. We should hit the 70 board just as we hit 60, because we're going up a gradient. So how busy is our train today? Have we got many passengers on board? No, it's not overly busy. Which is strange, because oh, single yellow. Oh, sugar, we're coming in way too hot. Oh, we've boy, how we've managed to do that, I do not know. Pay attention to your surroundings, Lee. The power of sand, I suppose. Right, we're slightly early, so... while we're here... Oh, nice GWR bench on the floor there. Nice old-fashioned GWR bench. due to my speeding, we are early, so just collect some of the collectibles. Well, the ones that are on this side of the station anyway. I don't think we get time to go up and over. Have to hit those on the way back. Go, sit in the engineers, shut the doors, release our brakes, 3 on the throttle, and away we go. How we stopped for that, I do not know. Right, so Hale, platform 1, 6 mile or 5.6 miles. Right, let's get going. Again, HST markers, very strange. Well, unless you're coming down here with modern rolling stock, but there aren't that many 12 card DMUs that I know of. Bear with me a moment, guys. I'm just going to go quiet for a couple of minutes. I'll be back in a sec. Sorry, I'm back. Right, we've got 50 coming up at the moment. We're on a 60. We've done a little bit of speeding. Whoops-a-daisy. Let's get this train back up as I left the brakes in a little bit too long there. Right, here's the 50, so we're at 47, so let's manage our speed and throttles now. It's only for this curve, another disused station coming up. Level crossing. Right, there's the 65 board again. Right, we're only 2 cars, so we're back to full throttle. An ungated level crossing, everyone's favourite. Right, 65 mile an hour. Scrub the brakes again. This route is actually after BR Blue, but before privatisation. Oh, are you talking about the GWR logo? Sorry, I've just seen the chat. That GWR logo is from, before it went to green. Oh, my logo. Yes, I've changed everything a little bit. It's sort of modernised. Right, we're coming up to the 60, so we're under 60, release the brakes. Right, so we're a mile and a half from our station. We're going downhill. We have a 45 mile an hour speed limit. Not too far away, so we're going downhill, so we'll just rub the brakes. Right, so there we go, we're at 45, we'll release the brakes, but we're rolling down a bit. Alright, so again picking up speed. We're coming in too hot, because again I'm not paying attention, so we've gone to full service. Gonna have to throw a lot of sand out now. Don't think we're gonna stop for this one, boys and girls. No, we're overshooting. We're overshooting. Is anything in the platform? No, but we'll unlock the doors anyway. Oh, that's a bit naughty. That's a little bit naughty. Mind the step getting out of that door. Really wasn't paying attention then, sorry folks. See, now this is one of the bugs. If you manually close the doors, these ones reopen again. Alright, so we're all good to go. Alright, off we go. Some earth. Oh, the engine's not happy with that. There we go. Oh, it's really not happy. AWS. Not sure what for though. Platform coming up, station. Let's put the brakes in now. Slowly slow ourselves down. Right, we're slowing ourselves down again a little bit too soon though now. One extreme to the other. I'm still driving Class 66s, but I'm signing off some new route. So I will be going to London Gateway and Tilbury and taking trains from Acton to those locations. So adding a little bit more variety to my daily job. Right, there we go. We've got semaphore signal again. There's the signal box. Let's give the signaller a little toot. So this is a branch station, for want of a better word. So there's a platform just over there, and you can go to St Ives from there. A little branch line down to St Ives. Right, let's just take the throttle off, roll up towards the stopping point. Evening, Rogan. I'm good. How about yourself? Welcome to the stream. Oh, it's wet rails a little bit. Car brakes. Oh, a little bit of slipping then. I did have a Discord server, Darko, but I got rid of it because it was too much like hard work trying to maintain it. Alright, we've got the red signal ahead of us, so we'll put the DRA on. It will clear once we've loaded though. Hope work was okay and kind to you today. Right, let's lock the doors. Hopefully the signal will then pull the signal off. There we go. Signal has gone to green. Notch 3 on the power and release the brakes as we're on a hill. And away we go. Penzance, that's our final destination for this run. 5 miles away. Did you delay it? No, the link from Discord, Darko has disappeared. I got rid of the server. I don't have a Discord server now. Right, so we are 6 minutes away from being late into Penzance. We've got 5 miles to go, and we're climbing up quite a steep hill at the moment. So, where was the flight off to? Blimey, Streamlabs has woken up. Oh, Rogan, have you been on Keymailer recently? Have you seen that this route has been removed from the coming soon section? Well, from having a date to indefinitely delayed. Right, we're approaching the 75, so we will throttle off as we're rolling downhill. Oh, what did they break? What did they break for you? Right, got 15, 1.2 miles, 2.8 miles to the station. Ah, it's just, I don't get that. What DLC were you trying to get this time? Right, so we're on our last... Oh god, no you didn't. Oh no. Well, if you get a refund on it and do not buy it. Seriously. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. Yes, it's awful. It is awful. Wait for... There is another one in the works, which is a lot better. Wait for that one. A lot better. Right, we're a mile and a half from Penzance. We're now on a single line. We're heading towards the old Porter's Head sidings here on the right. It's like the TMD, the train maintenance depot. And anybody that saw my stream on YouTube the other day is that's an absolute arse to shunt in that yard. No, Record 3D is just as bad as Captain Sim. It's an awful plane. It's about 3 different planes mashed into one. It doesn't fly very well. It's not worth the money. Seriously, it's not worth it. It's a bloody shocking airplane. Pardon my French. Yeah, there's another 737 coming out later this year. It will cost a lot more money, but it will be a lot better and a lot more interactive, shall we say. Alright, so we've got half a mile till our 15 mile an hour speed restriction going into the station. So we're clear through. Oh, class 37 on the right there. In probably the best livery that they did the 37 in. The old rail freight grey. And that driver's probably stuck because he's not realised that his brakes are in the wrong setting. Crikey, Rogan, you've dropped in and the world and his wife have decided to join us. So good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for dropping by. Please feel free to chat in chat. No question is a silly question. I do work on the British Railway. So if you have any questions about what goes on, I am more than happy to answer your questions as long as I know the answer. Right, here we go. We've got a single yellow up ahead on our approach into Penzance, and I think the 15 mile an hour is just after that ground position light on the right hand side. So we're going into platform 3. That's what that indicator shows us. So we will just apply our brakes, as there is the 15-mile-an-hour board. So we'll lead those brakes off now and just bring our speed back up to 15. Right, so here we are, Penzance Station. So we had a single yellow back at the last signal, and just on the floor in front of us you can see 2 white lights at 45 degrees. That's a ground position light, and that's our signal. So if that was at red, we cannot proceed. We would have to stop and contact the signaller. As you can see, the route's taken us into platform 3. There is a train on platform 4. Or is that platform 1? I can never remember. I'm not entirely sure. There's quite a lot of platforms here. Not all of them are in use. So we're going to head up to the buffer stops. Oh, that train's been given the road. He's off on his travels, nice and full. We're a couple of minutes late. So he's probably got the raving hump. Right, but we are going into dead-end buffer stop platforms. And that technically is our red signal. So we'll just give a gentle bit of brake, release it. So we're approaching the buffer stops at less than 10. And there we go. Bring the train to a nice stop. Let the people off. Change the destination, because we're going to go back to St Austell. We shall turn our marker lights off. Turn our tail lights on. Turn off our headlights. Oh no, we'll leave that one on. Turn off the instrument lights. Let's lock the doors. And there we go. We've completed the route in an hour, so we were 3 minutes late. And we didn't get a medal. That's awfully kind of the game, isn't it? Do all of that hard work, you don't even get a medal. Right, so we'll go back to the main menu. And we shall go back another one. And we'll do a little bit of London commuter. Now, do you guys want me to do a Gatwick Express service or a Southern service? No point doing the Class 166 or the 375. Because you don't get to do much with them. It's just a bit of eye candy. So if we do the 387 Gatwick Express services, they're about an hour long end to end, because they're semi-fast. So you only stop really at Gatwick and Brighton, with occasionally a few more stops. Gatwick Express, yeah? Do you want me to go from Victoria to Gatwick or Gatwick to Victoria? Again, you don't really stop at any stations, you're just whistling through, going around all the other services. Oh, that's an empty coaching stop one, that as well as. Interesting. Right, what we'll do is we'll do the 9:58 Victoria to Gatwick service. Now again, please be aware that there are some bugs with Train Sim World 2 Rush Hour. that, well, it's in the whole of Train Sim World 2 that do desync the cab every now and again into low texture mode, which was just what was happening there as it was loading in. So, right, let's get him on board. Have to wait for a little while. There we go. Let's get our master key in. Reverser to neutral. And we'll just unlock the doors while I set the cab up. Right, we can't change anything on there, so we just have to get out of our seat and just turn on DSD, vigilance, AWS, everything else is on. Alright, so we're not departing until 10 o'clock. Rogan, could you do me a favour and ban those two? Thank you. Do I want to become famous? Not really. Thank you. Right, so as you notice, on the other service that we were on, the 150, on that it said connect to service. Well, normally in here you'd have GSMR-R space GB, and then you'd have your head code over on this side. But as the GSMRs don't work, we don't have that. But you do get it in the 313 apparently. Woo! Right, so we have a line light, so we are getting electricity to the train, so we can lock our doors. Let's just put the seat down for Rogan so he can sit down. Right, away we go. Oh, helps if I put the train in forward. Away we go. Right, so you will notice a few frame rate drops in and around Victoria, because it's not really that well optimised at the moment. And that's because people are still trying to learn things with the engine. Right, so we've got 23 minutes, 23 miles, 30 minutes. Right, so we're just heading out of Victoria now. Now, the one thing that they have done really well on this route is make it feel really busy. So we've now got a race. Will I play Train Sim 2022? No, is the answer to that one. Because I really only play Train Sim World on my or Train Simulator on my console. And I don't really like all the faffing around with Train Sim 20, or Train Sim Classic as I call it. Because if you don't have part of a route, or you buy a train and it doesn't, it just gets all complicated. I prefer it just to be straight out of the box and working. Oh, what's that? All the way over there. Look, there's a 466 or a 465, sorry, in 8 car. How did that get there? Oh, hold on. That's not allowed. We're losing the race. No. You're fully entitled to ask. But yeah, I find it too much of a faff trying to get everything to work, and it doesn't look as pretty. It's not about eye candy. Please don't get me wrong. But I just can't get to grips with the old engine. I own it, I own lots of routes for it, I own lots of trains for it. But I can guarantee you it will crash once or twice on stream. Just because of the way it's coded, and it doesn't make good viewing. As you can see, a nice busy route with trains going in and out of Victoria. we're probably empty with no holiday makers, COVID timetable and all that. Yeah, this really is a busy route, Rogan. It's busy all the way down. We're just on our way to Clapham Junction now, and that is busy. The Gatwick Express is an express, so we do fly through a lot of the busy sections. Although around East Croydon we may get stopped while we catch stuff up and end up having to regulate ourselves a little bit. Although we've got greens at the moment, we're running on greens. So yeah, that's the line there to Waterloo that you can see intersecting with us there. That's the Southwestern Mainland. So that bit that bends off over there, that's the Strawberry Hill branch, I think. That goes off to Strawberry Hill and Hounslow and stuff, I think. I don't really know the way round here. But we're now on the Southwestern Mainline, so you can see there's lots of railway. And we're just coming up to Clapham Junction. But we're coming up to Clapham Junction now. So on the left hand side is the Covent Garden Flower Market, I think they call it in real life, although it's nowhere near Covent Garden. But that bit of line there, that goes round, believe it or not, to Wembley and Acton. There we go, through Clapham Junction. We're now going on to the Brighton Main Line, and that over there the other side of the station is the Southwestern Main Line. So that takes you to Bournemouth, Southampton, all of those sorts of areas. Right, we're too busy sightseeing and not enough power handle action. So again, you got another route over there. I'm not sure where that goes, I'm not entirely. Pathway, I only know the bits I've been over, which is this bit. Alright, so we're now up to 60, so we'll just throttle off, coast along in notch 1. We don't have any speed control on this one like you do on the 377, the southern unit. They didn't put it in the 387 for some reason. But you still get your depot whistle. Right, so here we go. We're through this station and then up to 70. Now the difference between the 387 and the 377, so the 377 is the southern unit, the green and white one, is this one can do 110 mile an hour, whereas the southern unit can't. I think it was only good for 90. Could be wrong on that though, but it's been a while since I've actually driven the 377, but that's a 377 there. And then you've got your southeastern 375. But as you can see, like, have you seen this amount of trains before on the same route? So that's a depot up there. That's Stewart's Walk, I think. Stewart's Lane. Yeah, this is properly busy, this route. Right, so we're at 70, we're approaching another 70. Can't read the trackside signal by the trackside boards because they're unreadable at the moment. 70 over 40, or 40 over 70, so we're good for 70. Freights can do 40. That moment you're eating jelly beans and you get a coffee one. Ugh. So again, Dovetail have done something really stupid on this route. So anybody that's watched my coverage of Southeastern High Speed will remember how much we rejoiced at having flashing yellow signals for junctions, which was be the correct signalling. On the Brighton Main Line, they threw that all in the bin, and you don't get them. Whether that's they've accidentally left them out and forgot that the signals can do it, or they didn't put those types of signals in. We don't know. They won't admit what they've done, which is a shame, because this route could really benefit from flashing yellows when you get to busy stations, or you're moving from the, like say for example you're in a southern service that stops at a few stations and then goes fast to Brighton, and you're going out onto the fast lines and you don't get flashers, and you just get brought down to a red, and then you come around the corner and the signal's cleared with the junction indicator telling you you're going across, and you're just like, ugh. Oh, there's another Gatwick Express train friend. So are we on a COVID train or pre-COVID? I'd say these people are all flying off somewhere. I think we've got a reasonably busy train today. Right, so we are now on our approach to the East Croydon area. So we may find we get a little bit of restrictive aspect signalling going on in a minute. We've got the 60 coming up, so we've slowed down for that. Oh look, another train coming in to London. There's our 60 board. Alright, so we're going around on the fast lines here, because the slow lines go over there. Oh, there we go, 2 yellows on our approach to East Croydon. So we're doing 60, so we'll just bring our speed down to 40, and hopefully the signal should clear as we go along. Our next signal is just hidden behind that bridge parapet, so we've got 2 yellows. No, we've had an emergency brake application because the AWS didn't sound. Although it's not on there that we've had an AWS brake demand. So I can't actually do the correct procedure for a TPWS4 system where I'd have to hold the AWS button. Because you would normally push that button and that button together. and it would release the brakes for you. Just got to wait for the system to time out now. Oh well, good job we got a little bit of redundancy built in here. There we go. Brakes released. Again, that's another one of the bugs with this, is the non-audible AWS. Every so often. Or if it does go off, I didn't hear it in my headphones. So at least we got green through East Croydon now. Good for 45 at the moment. End of the platform goes up to 60. Yeah, this is East Croydon. Very, very busy station in real life. And I think... oh, uh-oh. There we go. But it's compared West Cornwall local to this, it's chalk and cheese. Yes, this is a busier route in real life, but Dovetail, I give Dovetail Games credit when credit is due, and I give them credit for how busy this route is and how accurately representative of what the route is like in real life. It really is this busy, and for them to be able to get this running smoothly on console is, I doff my cap. They've done a really good job. People still need to learn to walk behind the yellow line in this game though. Right, we're up to 90, so let's open the taps. Let's go. $14 miles to Gatwick. We're going to be really early. Lovely camera angle that is. What a horrible view the drivers of these trains have. Turn the HUD back on just so you guys can see what's going on. What the speed is. Yeah, we only stop at Gatwick Express. This is literally the... oh, there we go, sound looping. Still haven't fixed that bug. Have to go inside to stop that. See some people on the platform there. You're dead, you're going to fall over, you're going to get knocked over. Turbulence going past that person then would have knocked them off their feet, especially with their back to the train. Yeah, so this is a perfect example of what I was talking about. If you were going to go across here from the fast lines to the slow lines and go across there, it's a 70-mile-an-hour junction. Without flashing signals, you wouldn't know you were going over. And I don't think they're in on this route. I don't think they've put them in. Right, we're up at 87, so we'll just take a notch of power out. Regulate ourselves a little bit because we don't want to be too early into Gatwick. Again, we're on the fast lines there, the slow lines down there on the left. And we're on the fast, the Brighton down fast we're on. So this is 2 tracks for the fast trains, and then if you're on a stopping service you're down on the left, because that goes to a couple of stations. About to fly over the top of them. Now we've changed sides with them, which is really confusing when you're trying to learn the route. So when I was learning to be, when I'd learned to be a Class 66 driver, you have to do a certain amount of hours before you can go out on your own. And I used to come down this route quite a lot to go to a place called Ardingly, which is an aggregates yard not too far off the route. And I also used to go to New Haven as well, which is in East Coastway. So Ardingly is modelled on this route as you get to Haywards Heath. You used to do a run round there to go down the Ardingly branch. Bit of useless trivia for you there. Alright, we've reached 90, so I'm just going to throttle off as we're rolling downhill, because we don't want gravity to take over too much and start making us speed like it is doing. So just rub the brakes just to scrub some off. Yeah, so the Ardingly branch is... that's the one that goes to Lewes. But the Ardingly branch is that one, I believe. Yeah. Which apparently they are going to be putting in some freight services at some point that go down there. Not many services go down there, so it will be a little bit of a work of fiction. But it's actually quite a good activity to discharge the wagons down there. It's quite interesting because it is in the middle of nowhere. If you imagine a little boy sitting on a bridge over a river playing dueling banjos on his banjo, that's the sort of place it is. Ding 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 ding. It's very peaceful, it's very quiet. So you just have to move the train forwards and backwards to unload the wagons. It's quite peaceful. You used to be able to get a good couple of hours kip when you were down there. Right, so we're at 80 for the upcoming speed restriction. There we go. So we're now 5 miles from Gatwick Station. Now, the Gatwick Express isn't currently running because of COVID. They haven't haven't reinstated it. They've leased the units out to other train providers. I think a couple of them are with Thameslink, who own most of the rolling stock, I think, down south, and they are on Great Northern services at the minute, because these do have a pantograph as well. Just there. So they can run on third rail, which is that thing which conducts the electricity into the traction motors, or they can run on the pantographs. So in theory you could take this on any German route or southeastern high speed on off the rails mode and go along to St Pancras, although you would struggle because there's no in-cab signalling on this one, so you wouldn't have a clue what signals we were getting. But it's nice to know you can do it. You've also got Crawley aggregates and Purley aggregates on this route as well, which again are places where you can take goods trains. Crawley is run by Freightliner Heavy Haul. They tend to do the services at the moment, and Purley is Freightliner Heavy Haul. Crawley tends to be GB Rail Freight. So you may find that you get some new liveries of Class 66 on this route. Again, I don't know anything about that. Please don't quote me on that, because I don't know. It's just real life what runs on the route. So you may see different liveries, you may not. Right, so we're coming down now into Gatwick. We're a mile and a half out. We've got some speed restrictions coming up, so we're just slowing down for our approach. We're going into platform 6, where this train will then stable for a little while and then head back to Victoria. So that's the train we're going to replace. So I'm just looking for my signal here. It's hidden in the trees, so we've got 2 yellows down there. Acknowledge our AWS that's now sounding an alert noise again. So that 2 yellows indicates that the next signal is a single yellow. So this should be Hawley Station. Yep, this is Hawley. Alright, so we'll just apply the brakes now and slow ourselves down a little bit further to the 30. Because we have got some point work we're going over in a minute, and we don't want to speed across that. So we're starting to see aircraft coming across now, so we know that we're close to Gatwick. Right, so we've got a single yellow and a number 1 indicator, which means we're going left. So we've got 6 indicating we're going into platform 6. So we're at 30. So when we get up here, there'll be 2 platforms we can go in. A number 2 indicator would have taken us all the way across to platform 7, but we are going into platform 6, which is just the left, because there's already a train in platform 7. Thank you very much for the host, Nightmare Gamer. Much appreciated. So yeah, the number 2 indicator would have taken us into that platform there, but the number 1 indicator is taking us into here. So we are an 8-car train, so we're going to go quite a long way down the platform but it is red, so we are just going to start to apply a little bit of braking. Because this train terminates, it doesn't go anywhere else, it just goes back to Victoria. And look at that, stopped on the money. Right, so it's the right-sided doors. So we will now turn off our headlights and just display red lights to the front of the train. We'll go down here to the PIS. Just zoom in. I believe London Victoria is down here, 301. Confirm the selection. Right, there we go. The route has been completed. 30 minutes and 51 seconds, and we got a gold medal, which is always nice. So welcome to the viewers that came in with Nightmare Gamer 6752. We are just doing some casual railwaying this evening. Right, we'll just return to free roam. Because what we'll do is we'll just shut the cab down. So DRA needs to go on. Got our red lights on the rear. Take the reverser out. Brake to emergency. Master key out. Stand up. Do the okie dokie. Let's give ourselves a little stretch. Put up Rogan's seat. Get that out of the way. Just jump off now. Secure the cab. Lock the door. Check that the lights are on. Yeah, the red lights are on. It's still showing Gatwick Airport because the AI has taken control again. We've left the doors open. I'm not sure why it's remained as Gatwick, but hey ho. So that's the 10:30. So I don't know why it's expected at 10:32. There goes another aircraft in. So yes, I don't know why it's showing as 10:32, but it doesn't head back until 10:54. So that's going to Brighton. Where's that one calling at? Brighton only. So that will be another Gatwick Express service that will be fast to Brighton. Southampton Central. Interesting that that's on there. I wonder what sort of train that one will be. I wonder if that's a class 166. So yes, we'll just have a quick look around the station, see if there's anything that we have not unlocked. Cool, there's not much room there, is there? Ooh. But again, this station has been completely knocked down. They're rebuilding this at the moment. Anything in the vending machine worth having? No. Red lights nicely on the rear there. Ah, see, now it's flicked over to 10:54 London Victoria. So that's going to London Victoria. Where's that calling at? This train calls at East Croydon, Clapham Junction and London Victoria. So, excuse me, driver. Thanks very much. Wait till 10:32. We'll quickly get out then. Just turn on all our safety systems as we drive these trains properly, not like half of the Wallies currently influencing. Right, we'll close our doors. Open our window. Oh, why has he got it in? Right, away we go. So we've got a green signal, East Croydon at 10:47. So we were saying, oh, these have got a maximum speed of 100, sorry, not 90 that I said earlier. But they do have speed control, so we can set that slowly. Up to 75. Activate it. Put it into notch 4 and just let the train do its thing. Right, we've got our red lights on. Have we got red lights on the rear though? We should do, because this was a train in service. Yeah. And away we go, East Croydon. This is one of the better features of the 377, is the cruise control. Again, this is a semi-fast service, so you can get ones that stop at every single station, and that takes about an hour, I think, hour and 20 minutes. Roving of the levels alright, by the way, if you're still here. So it's quite a way to East Croydon, but we have actually got a stop there, so excellent, thank you. Here's our DSD. Right, we're slowly approaching 90 now. And the great thing with the speed control is that when we get to about a mile from the 80, we just click it to 80 and it just slows us down. But we have to leave it in notch 4 on the power, so I don't think Southern like their drivers using the speed set controls, because it breeds complacency. So there goes that Express, Gatwick Express to Brighton, calling it Gatwick Express and Brighton. But yeah, I don't think they like the drivers using it, just because it breeds complacency, but I personally think it's safer. But that's just me. Because it controls my braking, it controls everything to a degree, because it reduces the power to get me to that speed. So I think it's a safer way of driving, but I don't work for a TOC, I work for a FOC. And some of you are probably wondering, what the hell does he mean by TOC and FOC? Well, TOC is Train Operating Company, which means passenger trains, and FOC means Freight Operating Company in railway speak. But I'm sure if you're here watching this stream, you've probably got an idea of what that meant anyway. But for those of you that don't, now you know. Right, see, we're at the 80 board now, and we are at 79 mile an hour, so it's sorted us out. Right, so we've got 11 miles to East Croydon. We're going back into a 90 just round this curve. Cancel our DSD. Crank up the speed adjust back to 90. just let the train do its thing. So what do you think of the route, guys? I know this has been out a little while, but it's now working without the texture glitches and stuff at the degree that we were getting them before on the Xbox. I know on PlayStation 5 and PC there hasn't been any problems, but I'm on Xbox Series X. You know that I play on Xbox Series X, so what do you want to see me do differently? If anything. You're my audience, I'm the content creator. Feedback is key. I'm not like some streamers that throw their toys out the pram. If you say something's rubbish, I want to know. Oh, I've run out of jelly bellies. That's a shame. And if you don't want to comment in the chat, that's absolutely fine. Maybe comment on the YouTube upload that'll be up tomorrow. And I'll cut it up so that each route is on its own video for once, instead of you having to watch a 3-hour marathon just to see a little bit of a route you wanted to. That's a 89 mile an hour and the speed limit set to 90. 7 miles now, 7.7 miles to East Croydon. Then we'll be back at London Victoria after that. Oh no, we're stopping at Clapham Junction as well, aren't we? See, that's the only problem with this, is you should have a little bit of paper here that is dynamic. That if you forget where your calling points are, that this list here, this list that tells you where you're stopping, which is what we call in the industry a diagram, would be on a little bit of printed paper that you could zoom in on and see where you were calling at. Just to add another little bit of realism, because the driver in real life would have somewhere here, probably down here, that piece of paper, and he'll have a highlighter pen. So when he's called at a station, he will mark it off. So he knows, or she knows, that they've been to that station and everything was okay. Right, so we've got 5 miles to East Croydon, so we'll think about slowing down in a few moments. So we are slowly knocking those miles off towards East Croydon at 90 mile an hour. I'm imagining we're probably going to get some weird not weird signalling, but different signalling at East Croydon again, because we'll probably get moved over at East Croydon or Clapham Junction to suit our run into Victoria. 3.5 miles to our next stop. Ooh, cab desync. Lucky the DSD audio came in then, because normally when you get that cab desync the sound goes as well for a minute. Right, 2.2 miles to the 60. So as we're doing 90 at the moment, if we set that to 60, we should start to see the speed come down. And I like how not all stations are super busy. Right, so that's the AWS for the 60, which we're already slowing down for. As you can see, we've lost 20 miles an hour, and the speed is still coming off nicely. So we should be at 60 for the 60 board, without any brake application. So yeah, there we go, we're at 60. Just as we are on approach to the 60 board, which is the perfect way to drive the train. It's always to be at your speed boards before you get there. The speed of the speed board before you get there. Otherwise it's naughty. But what I mean is, oh, that, oh, blooming hell. Well, we just lost the windscreen there, folks. Yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, you want to be sort of slowing down before the board, before you get to the board, so that you're at the speed about 100 yards before the board in theory, which we were then. So I'm just bringing our speed down a little bit more manually because we're on approach to the station. The station's not that far away. Alright, what was that for? 2 yellows, number 1. Very short signals here, as you can tell. Single yellow. Like I said, we've been moved right out the way here. So there's probably a couple of expresses to come past us. Alright, 30 mile an hour at the ramp. Brake into notch 1. So we've got a red at the end of the platform in theory. Again, no AWS horn, and I forgot to push the button even though I noticed that it was there. So this has now given us a brake demand on the TPWS. So we now just have to wait for it to time out. But I doubt the rear of the train is in a position, but we can unlock the doors anyway. Only one set of doors is off the platform, I think. Yep, one set of doors off the platform. So we just close those doors. We've still got a red at the end of the platform, so we'll just pop our DRA on. So we're 2 minutes early anyway, so the brake demand has now cleared itself. So we are good to move forward, but we do have that red. So we ain't going nowhere yet. Right, so at 47 minutes and 30 seconds we'll lock the doors. But we are probably waiting for a path into Clapham Junction at the moment. So if we have a quick look at the map, just see if we can spot anything that could be hindering our path. Not that I can see. Ah, yeah, we're waiting for that train, I guess. Right, so we'll just lock our doors. We've got the DRA on, so let's just knock that off and just slowly start creeping up to the signal. Just in case we're not in a point to trigger it. Right, so it's a, there you go, 2 yellows straight to a green, so we're good to go. So what we'll do is we'll set it to 30, activate it. Now up to 45 because the back end of the train has cleared that 45 at the beginning of the platform. And we'll just drive with the controller. Speed controller, that is. Right, so we've got an increase in the speed. We'll up the auto speed control to 60, approaching a 70, so when we see the 70 board we'll count to 10. Because that's how long it should take the 8 cars to pass the board. At 60. Put that theory to the test as we go past the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There you go. Speed has increased to 70. So we'll put the speed limiter up to 70. So we're now Clapham Junction, platform 12, in 7 minutes. Again, we're going to get slowed down going into Clapham Junction because it's a very busy bit of railway. Cancel our DSD. Alright, so 70 mile an hour still, hurtling towards Clapham Junction. People walk behind the yellow line. So we got 2 miles to a 60, we're only 10 miles an hour over that, so when we get to a mile we'll change our speed set to 60 and it should slow us down, unless we get some change of aspects. So by change of aspect I mean the signalling goes from green to 2 yellows, and then we will manually intervene and put some brakes on. cancel that DSD. Set it to 60 now. Slightly ahead of time, but I think we're going to need to slow down a little bit more than that. I can't remember what's coming up ahead of us. Right, so we're at 60, half a mile before the 60 board. But I'm very wary of our time, so I'm just trying to regulate ourselves a little bit so that we're not arriving too early at Clapham Junction. You've really got to be Johnny on the spot with your time in there. There's a green somewhere in the trees there. Right, so we're just a mile away from Clapham Junction now, or 2 miles as the crow flies. It's just starting to get a bit busy on the old railway again, so I reckon we're probably going to get signalled down again. Because as you can see, there's a slow service coming alongside us. It's probably booked into Victoria ahead of us, so we'll probably be in a race with that one. So we've got 45 coming out of Clapham Junction, so we'll turn the speed set off. We'll just coast now. 1.5 miles to Clapham Junction, so gravity can do the work here. As we go past Drake in his black and orange coat again. Little wave to the driver coming in the opposite direction. Not that I've ever known a southern driver to wave at you when you'd wave at them going past them. Right, 2 yellows. So we will just slowly start to apply the brakes again. Signal sections won't be very long in the run up to Clapham Junction, so they can cram more trains in. There you go, there's already our single yellow. And again, no AWS horn, so we've had a penalty brake application, so I didn't see it change. Excuse me. Again, I hope this bug they are aware of. Doing my nutting. So we now have to wait for that to time out, which is going to make us late. I'm not sure why it does it. I'm not sure why it works and then it doesn't work. But it is annoying me. Excuse me. Right, there we go. Brakes have released, so we will just floor it and try and see if we can arrive in 30 seconds, half a mile away. Not going to happen. We're going to be late. But we have also got to be careful of our next signal aspect, because we had a single yellow at the last one. So in theory our next signal should be red, but it's actually green. Right, 30 at the platform ramp. So we'll just apply a little bit of braking now. We have got proceed aspect at the end of the platform. So we had a green at the last one, so we're either going to have a single yellow, double yellow, or a green. We have a green. Right, there we go. Clapham Junction. We're only going to be about 30 seconds late. But I told you, that slow service will get there before us. No photos, no photos. Don't want any photos. Alright, let's lock those doors. And the next station is platform 18, London Victoria. Alright, so we're straight to line speed again until we get off the end of the platform, and then we're at 45. There's the warning board for the 45. Now, like I say, if you were on the tracks on the left-hand side of the train at the moment, you'd be going into Waterloo. But these tracks that we're on now curve off to London Victoria. Although you can go to Waterloo from these tracks. They do. You can go across to go to Waterloo instead of Victoria, if it was there, but it's not there in the game. So we're now going to bend round here and head on our merry little way to Victoria. So we're in theory heading towards Battersea at the moment. You'll see the power station in a few moments as we come round the curve. Here it is, Battersea Power Station just hoving into view. Now again, on our approach into Victoria, we need to be very mindful of our aspects and our signalling, because it is very short sections very quickly. Again, there's lots of other, like, there we go, restrictive aspect that's just gone up to a green. Just as we were coming towards it, it went from 2 yellows to a green. So I'm just going to be mindful that we may get stopped before we get into Victoria. So 2 yellows up ahead, so yes, we are going to be stopped before we get into Victoria. So what we will do is we will turn off the active speed control. Make sure we acknowledge all our AWS's. So that's 2 yellows. So we're going to stop just before the station. There's a network. We're going to come up alongside a 465 in a moment. Right, we need to start slowing down because we've got a 20 mile an hour ahead because we're going across some point work. No AWS horn at that signal, so luckily I was paying attention. So single yellow. Platform 18, so we're going straight into the platform. There's that networker again, going into the southeastern side of the station. So We're heading into the southern side. As we are a southern service. Right, so we will just apply the brakes down to 15 mile an hour so we don't trigger the TPWS towards the grid, towards the buffers. Just going over that now. Any faster than 15 mile an hour, you're going to get a brake application. Got no lights on, mate. Right, so we'll apply our brake. Slowly get ourselves down to a nice stop at the buffers. And stop. Alright, so that's the end of the route for us. So that to emergency, that to off, take out the master key, headlights off, tail lights on. Although we won't be able to actually lock the doors. Just push that to neutral for a minute. There we go. So that's a gold medal. A few issues there with the AWS, but that's out of our control. That's not something I can do. So yeah, we took it from Gatwick Airport to London Victoria, so East Croydon's stopping distance was a little bit shocking, but Clapham Junction wasn't too bad. But yeah, thanks very much for joining the stream, guys. I'm going to call that it for tonight. I will be back tomorrow with more train sim and maybe some other bits and pieces. We'll see what the mood takes us in. But thank you very much for dropping. Thanks to the new followers, the raid, and I'll see you all next time.